Welcome everybody. In this video we're going to do sort of an introductory look at project templates in Revit. Now we're not going to be creating the project templates or anything like that, but we're just going to sort of investigate how we use them when we start new projects. Because for every new project you start, you do have to select a template file to use as the basis or the sort of jumping off point for your project. And the template files contain sort of all the preliminary information. They'll have your annotation styles, your default dimension styles. They will have some preliminary views possibly set up. Maybe you'll have some sheets already set up. You can have different components and fixtures, things like that, preloaded into the project file. So that instead of having to load them as you're working on the project, they're already there and you can just sort of drop them into your model. The more efficient your template is set up for your project types, the more efficient your work period, your work session will be. The less time you'll spend downloading things from other locations and things like that. So template files are actually a fairly important aspect in using Revit properly. So whenever you start a new project, you do have to select a template file. Now, so if I start a new project from sort of the intro splash screen here, click on new and you get a list, you get the new project window with a list of sort of default templates. Now these are default templates that came with Revit. So you can pick one of these and create your new project, or you can browse on your computer system if you have your own custom templates. There we go, as I do here. So if you have your own custom templates, you can select that and actually use that template to start up your new project, which is really, really convenient. And again, most firms will have a couple of different templates for different project types that they're working on. You can also modify to create new project templates by selecting this radio button here for project template. But for now, we're not going to worry about that. We're not going to create a new template right now. We're just going to use the existing ones. So we go back to project and we can open up a new project based on this template file. And that's all fine and good, and everything else is working nicely. We can get to work on our project, but I'm just going to close this down quickly again and go back to the main page. If I go to, sorry, not open. If I go to create a new project again, I don't have my own personal template in this drop-down list, and it's a little tedious to be browsing for my template every single time, because I have to come in here and then go back to the network, PC, Cedra. So you have to keep navigating through all the time, and that becomes a little tedious. It kind of defeats the point. Like, templates are supposed to make things more efficient, yet selecting your template slows things down. So Revit actually does have a way, and I'm just going to cancel these. If I come to the home button here and I use the file menu, I can actually go down to my options here. And once I'm in options, I can go over to my file locations, and this is where I can actually streamline my template selection. So I can actually, I don't use my construction template very much. I don't use the structural or the mechanical template. I tend to work predominantly in the architectural end of things. So I've got the architectural template, but I do like to use my own template. So I'm actually going to add, and I'm going to navigate through to my own template. And I can add it to the list, and I can actually move it up. So it's the top template on the list. Hit OK. And now if I were to start a new project, you'll see my template is now the first one on the list. And my list consists only of those two templates that I set up in my options. So if my company had 5 different templates they used on a regular basis, I could actually list all 5 of them in the file options there for Revit. And that would just make selecting and starting my projects with specific templates a lot easier. So that's how you start a project using a template. Now, a lot of people that I've worked with in the past, they get sort of overexcited when they're working on projects, and they'll come into their project files here, or their file structure. There's my cursor, there it is. And they might just double click on the template file, thinking that they're opening a project. What they're actually doing when you double click on a template file from your file structure or your file manager, you're actually opening the template file. And if I were to start drawing a model in here, I'd actually be modifying the template file. So if I were to save this and then use this as a template again, the building would be, or any building elements I put in would be part of the template file. You'll see here as I go to try to save this, I can't save it as a project now. I can only save it as a template. Because again, I double clicked on the template file, so I actually opened up to edit the template file. So that's one thing where people get a little hung up. If you're going to start a new project using a template, don't double click on the template file. Make sure that if you're going to start a new project, you go to the new menu and create a new project from here, or from the startup splash screen, create a new project from here. Choose the template you want to use and make sure you're creating a new project. So that's how you use templates to create new projects, and that's how you also set your templates up to be in sort of the default template list for creating new projects.